Hi, I'm Mark Dara, executive producer for Anthem, and with me is John Warner, the game director. On the microphone, we're also going to have AJ, who's going to feed us questions throughout the stream.
Hey guys, I'm excited about the stream today.
So what we're going to start with, I think, is we're going to take a look at the video we just released yesterday, and that was actually a recording of the theater demo that we did at EA Play. And we'll talk about things we can pick out and just get a little bit more context on that. So here we are.
Yep, so what we're going to see first here is this is your Strider, the outside of your Strider anyway. This is your mobile base. And it'll be your forward base, kind of a supplement to Fort Tarsus. In here you can kind of screw around with your Javelins, change out their loadouts, their customization options, personalization, stuff like that.
You guys starting without me?
So we're going to go inside, and here we are going to see your pit crew. So up first, he's going to say it's time to get to work, I believe, is going to be Halleck.
That's it. And this is another great place for you to get cool story moments, interact with your crew, and get to know the people that you're going to grow to love.
So the woman that walked by before, that's Faye. She is a Cypher, as is Owen here. Cypher acts as your companion when you're out in the field, provides you extra information, helps supplement your eyes and ears.
That's right. Kind of ride shotgun with you in the back of your head. And this is a Colossus Javelin. As you can see, it's nestled here in the front of your Strider, and you could choose to customize it or personalize it here. But what we're going to see in the demo is we're just going to jump right in and launch this mission and invite some friends.
Yeah, we're going to invite some friends. So we've really built Anthem from the ground up to be a 4-player experience, but you can play with different numbers of experiences. Especially the story, you'll be able to play that by yourself or with 1, 2, 3 other people if you want.
That's right. Yeah, and so we wanted to make sure that it was easy to be able to grab your friends, invite them into a mission with you. Or if none of your friends are online, you can just do a quick pickup game with just random people.
Yeah, random people. And really we wanted to structure the missions and the Strongholds, which is what we're doing today, to be something that you can play and be challenging, but not have to have really tight integration with the other people in your squad.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. This should be something where you all just kind of jump in. The objectives are clearly marked, and so you don't need to coordinate really heavily for just a basic mission.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, looks like we restarted the video. And there we go.
There we go. So we have a squad of 3 here, and you can see that they have some different customizations and personalization options going on.
Yeah, we'll be showing a lot more of that at a later date, where we really dig into. You can see actually, we didn't really talk about this in the video. The other Colossus actually not only has a custom paint job, it's actually got some bit packs changing its silhouette a little bit.
Yep.
It's more of a dive suit, whereas here you're more like looks more like a piece of construction equipment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's lots of people have been asking about the reactivity of the world, and how your suit can cool down or heat it up. There's lots more to kind of explore and discuss when it comes to that. But a cool reactive world, I think, is the point of the
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, it's the scars.
The scars. Now, a question that weirdly nobody has asked me is whether or not we're going to be able to adjust the damage numbers in combat. I mean,
Nobody's asked that?
Nobody's asked that. So surprisingly, because for me, I kind of feel like maybe those critical numbers are a little bit too big, but nobody's asked that. But I can confirm, at least for myself, who is interested in that specific thing, that we are going to allow you to change the size of those floaties, as well as increase or decrease their opacity.
Good to know. Good to know. In fact, didn't you put a screenshot of that on your Twitter account this morning?
I did. I don't know. I don't think anyone was interested in that. It didn't.
That,
no, it hasn't gotten 180,000 impressions.
It's not a hot topic.
Not a really hot topic.
Now there are things in the world that you can destroy and blow up, like we see here. Because it's fun to blow things up, right?
Yeah, it's fun to blow things up. Absolutely.
Almost as fun as flying, and that was really the people who got to play hands-on at EA Play and at E3. I think can attest to and have attested to how fun it is just to fly around.
Yeah, I mean something that you really see here is the level of verticality. We're actually throughout the entirety of this open world section, we're actually going down. Every time we move vertically, we're actually moving down. We move down through the entirety of this mission. So actually the difference in height between the beginning and end when we enter the stronghold up ahead is actually quite dramatic.
Yeah.
And what you find when you're out in the open world moving around is that it just really makes the world feel bigger on an extra level, because there's this extra feeling of up and down that you don't normally get.
So we just got joined by the Storm. My personal favorite suit, I love the Storm. I love these cool elemental attacks, and it just feels really fun to me. I love to play it. I love to float around and fly around like that and cast magic spells.
Yeah, I mean, what we really want to make sure is the four different javelins we have at launch all have a different feel, a different role to play, and that's right. The Storm is much more about glass cannon is what the language Ben used. I think that's very appropriate.
Yep.
Able to dish a lot of damage, apply a lot of status effects.
Yep.
But maybe not take as much punishment as the Colossus.
That's right.
So here we are underwater.
Oh, we didn't talk about the big monster we just
we just flew past the big monster. Big monster or whatever.
You know.
Yes, you can see that you can see the breath bar there. So if you stay underwater too long, you will drown.
Yep. Yeah, that is something that will be affected by how you build out your pilot and your pilot perks. We haven't really talked about, but we will talk about that later. But it affects stuff like how much you can breathe underwater, how long you can fly, stuff like that.
So now we're actually into the stronghold proper. So strongholds are a combination of inside and outside. We didn't want to use the term dungeon because it just implies this sort of, either cave systems or something, some sort of castle or something. And these are really big spaces that include exteriors. So we wanted something that just conveyed that grandeur.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that what's interesting about these is the amount of coordination that you can do with your squad. We showed off one way that you can approach this, but man, there are so many ways you can do it. And taking a squad of all storms or all interceptors through here, just to show people that it can be done. Cool challenge. I think it's something that'll be fun to play around with.
For sure. And so it's nighttime now. So we have dynamic day and night. So when you're out in the open world, you'll actually see sunset and sunrise if you stay out there long enough. The day-night cycle is actually shorter than normal. It's synchronized for everyone in the entire world, so everyone is at the same time of day at the same time. But because the day-night is faster than normal, it's not like you're going to always be at a specific time of day.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Combat combinations. I think we've showed off a couple of different combos, mostly based off of status effects by freezing and smashing, or being lit on fire like the second Colossus there.
There's a shaper relic. Wait, something's odd. Get a
So
closer
we're
look.
moving ahead. So yeah, this is so
2 moons.
yes, the
I
2
have a
moons.
glimpse of that.
Yeah. So the Scar are sort of base level humanoid enemy. They're not actually humans or actually humanoid at all, actually, as it turns out, but they look humanoid. And they are just like a primary enemy faction, invader, that have come through these effects caused by the Shaper. So they provide a consistent enemy palette that we use.
That's right.
Unlike the Dominion that we've talked about a little bit, who are the primary enemy from a storytelling perspective. Those actually are humans. Those are actually trying to take over the world and use Shaper technology to dominate the world.
Right. So the activity that the squad's about to tackle right now is they're trying to silence this Shaper relic. And to do that, they're going to need to collect these echoes from the Anthem of Creation and bring those echoes back to the Shaper interface. And you're going to find that mechanic here and there throughout the game. And kind of a cool bit of collection and puzzlery.
Yeah, one thing that we've gone with is the game called Anthem. We use this for people that are familiar with cymatics, refers to the physical effect of sound, and so for things that are caused by the Shapers, we like to apply that kind of effect. So like this kind of ferrous liquid here, that's a cymatic effect, where the audio is actually causing the visual effect to react in that way.
Yeah, it's a fun thing, and you'll see that around Shaper relics throughout the world.
Even language like echoes and things like that, just to tie back into that audio background.
That's right. So this is kind of a cool combo opportunity, and it shows how you can strategize with your squad, right? So this ranger's going to throw down a legendary frost grenade, and the frost grenade in its legendary form, when you get a combo, you can see that ice effect spread even further, so it'll actually radiate out and catch more enemies in the effect.
Yeah, because I think that heavy actually wasn't caught by the original grenade, but you got him in after you detonated it off the combo.
Right. And turret time. So you're not locked into a role. I think that's another important thing. Even though the Javelins do represent different classes, just because you're playing a Colossus doesn't mean that you always have to, be the bullet sponge, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we really want to make, with the Colossus, it's important because you are this big guy, so it makes sense that you're going to be carrying bigger weapons. So it lets us have a role that's not as constrained as just pure tank.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this Colossus that's our point of view, that's built for a ranged mode, right? It's got that legendary mortar on its back, and it's got a railgun on the arm, so you really want to engage from a distance with this bird. But the other Colossus is built for more close combat.
Yeah, because he's got a flamethrower. Actually, I don't know what his other weapon actually is.
The flame mortar.
Oh, yeah, okay, right. Oh, yeah, right, we see that at the end, yeah.
All torchy. And
sorry, I just noticed that Patrick he's talking in the stream over there, and I got distracted.
Twitch! So, let's see here. Where are we headed? Oh, yeah, okay. So now we're going to go deeper into the Stronghold hive itself, because we got to stomp out whatever the Scars are using to make this cool weapon, or horrible weapon.
Run by some grabbits.
Rabbits! Horrible, horrible rabbits. But I think that the amount of wildlife that we've put into the game, just again doing things to make the world feel very alive, and
yeah, I mean something
lots of ambient activity.
That's important for us is to make it feel like humanity is out of scale with the world. So when you go and you see even the rabbits, which are not actually rabbits, but they're not rabbit-sized; they're more like dog-sized. When you're out there and you see something like our wolf analog, they're 10 feet long. I mean, you need to feel, you should be feeling like you need to be in a suit of power armor to be out here, otherwise something's gonna eat you. And that might be a cute little rabbit.
Out of your Javelin, you are not at the top of the food chain.
And you are not at the top of the food chain.
So we do skip forward here. Stronghold is about a, 35, 40-minute experience, depending on,
Yeah, we want the
your
experience of a Stronghold to be something that you can do relatively comfortably, but have a meaty bit of content.
Right.
Fighters.
Oh, did you see that ricochet shot? That's another, I think, legendary weapon that the Ranger
Legendary
is
pulse rifle, I think?
Yeah. And that thing actually bounces off of enemies, and you can do a lot of damage in that. I love that melee attack. One of my favorite things about the Colossus.
Yeah, so for melee attacks, every Javelin will have a different melee attack. Javelin actually does a ground smash and also can attack with his shield.
Right.
We aren't doing customizable or modifiable melee weapons at launch, but it is something that certainly is technically feasible.
The flare is something that we haven't really talked about.
Right.
We didn't talk about it in the stream anyway, but we can talk about it here. It's a useful tool. You can use it to illuminate dark places like we just did here, but you can also use it to communicate with the rest of your squad when you want to point stuff out and say, hey, come over here, or let's rally at this spot.
Yeah, it actually works through the emote system right now, so it's you can map different emotes. One of them that's mapped in this is the wave, but also we're using the flare as one of them as well. This will be something that lets you additionally personalize the way that your suit will be.
Right.
Javelin.
Yeah, what could go wrong here? It doesn't look menacing at all.
There's nothing goes wrong.
No.
Oh, look, lore!
Blue glowy thing. Yeah, so for those of you who like to collect everything in the world and hunt around and poke around in corners, you're going to find cool stuff like that ancient Arcanist resonance. And that's scattered around the world, and that's how you're going to find out about the history and the world of Anthem.
Yeah, so when you're out in free, a lot of that stuff is going to be concentrated. That and picking up crafting materials is really going to be concentrated out in free play.
Yeah.
In free play, you're on a server with other people still, but you're much less tethered together. So it gives you that opportunity to play much more at your own pace. Take a look around, find out things about the world, pick up some crafting material, explore. Really just scratch that itch if that's what you're looking to do.
Yeah. All right.
So something that's probably actually worth calling out at this point is this build we were playing with 4 people that literally had played this sequence probably 100 hours, and we balanced this thing for E3. So if people are thinking like, man, this sure looks easy. It's not.
It's not. These are our best players, and this is going to have a great challenge for your squad, and the different ways that you can approach it and crank up the difficulty for better and greater rewards. It's a good time. It's a great fight.
You see the second Colossus actually there hovering and using his flamethrower at the same time.
Yeah, so when you want to apply a status effect to a large creature like the Swarm Tyrant here, you're not going to do it with one frost grenade or one bout of your flamethrower. You really need to layer it on there, and they stack. And once you've stacked them high enough, there it goes.
You can light
them on fire or freeze it,
or both.
Maybe
probably
not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
That would make no sense.
What physics? Okay, so.
Yep, you can see a lot of critical hit damage there, the yellow numbers.
So am I going to be able to adjust the size of those?
I've never had that question.
Yeah.
I think the answer is yes.
Age is going to come.
I was going to ask, will you be able to decrease the size of the damage floaties for launch?
You know, AJ, I'm
glad you asked.
I'm glad you asked that. The first time I've been asked that question, I think we will do that.
We will do that. You heard it here first.
Well, or 51st.
Oh, well, you know.
201st.
At some point you heard this.
Yes. So actually coming up here as the Swarm Tyrant goes away, we're going to see, I think what the Flame Mortar is really good at is area denial.
That's right.
I've probably spoken too soon because it's going to happen now.
There it goes. Boom.
So it actually lays down an AOE effect, which actually is great for places where you want to really lock down direction.
Right. Yeah, and you can use this not only in close spaces like this cave, but out in the open world, it works really well too. Just paying off your ability to pay attention to your terrain and take advantage of it in different ways. It's just one of the, I think, cool pieces of freedom that we're trying to give our players.
Yeah. Someone on the thread said I'm salty.
Oh, well, there you go.
I am kind of salty.
It's the humidity, really.
Yeah. They're never letting me just do this.
No, this is going to be the last time we're going to do this. So we should enjoy it.
We should enjoy it because they're never going to let us on Twitch ever again.
Okay, so we're going to see the ultimate attack here.
Okay, the one thing with this is we actually pretty much toned down the amount of damage this guy is doing a lot. Just for the purpose of the demo. But that is, you are shooting effectively nukes. As the Colossus. So
yeah, that's huge. It
changes
changes the battle.
Yes.
It does. And the ultimate abilities, you can see the meter filling up at the bottom of the screen there. Fills up pretty rapidly because we want you to have fun with that and we want you to use it. And,
yeah, I mean, honestly, a mistake we may have made in the theater
it.
Demo is we kind of saved all those ultimates to the end, and so, but you probably would have had time to use them maybe two times before then.
Yeah, for sure.
If you had been playing the game normally.
Yeah.
So as we kind of loop through this demo again, I figured we could go to some questions. I know, as no surprise, we've gotten quite a few in the chat. We've gotten a ton on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, and I thought I'd go through some of those if you guys are cool with answering those now.
Sure.
Why not? That's why we came.
So starting with some of the most common asked questions, I know we've already talked about the floaties. You said you will have some options at launch, and Mark, you tweeted out a photo of that. So be sure to follow Mark on Twitter. It's BioMarkDera if you want to see that screenshot.
Hey, what
But-
about me? What am I, chopped liver?
Yeah. No. You
Yeah,
gotta-
totally
you gotta
follow John Warner. It's BioMark Dara.
That's why no one follows me. They all think I'm BioMark Dara. He's much hairier than me. You might have noticed
Yes,
that.
I have a longer torso than you.
Oh, well,
I-
there's that.
I have a good one on launch date. So, what is the launch date, and why is the launch date December 31st, 2019 on PlayStation?
So the launch date is February 22nd, 2019 on PS4, Xbox 360, and PC. The PSN date is just a mistake. We are in the process of fixing that right now. In fact, really lucky it's fixed right now.
Not Xbox 360, though, right?
Did I just say Xbox
Yeah.
360?
Xbox One.
Xbox One.
And Xbox One X.
And yes, not Xbox 360.
Not on the Amiga, the Jaguar,
Not
or the
Jaguar.
ColecoVision.
Wow,
We've
did I
left
just have
those
some sort
off.
of weird flashback?
Although ColecoVision Anthem, that might
Wow.
be a thing. That'd be cool.
Yes, not Xbox 360.
No.
What about romances?
So we are not doing romances in Anthem. We are focusing our attention for relationships on relationships that everyone can experience, so that we can really go and put our effort into that. You will have characters that you will form relationships with and deepen and have conversations. We're just not doing romances. No nudity. Not that nudity is a necessary part of romances.
No, but it's, I think that when we think about relationships in Anthem, and you saw a little bit of your crew there with Alec and Faye and Owen, you're going to want to talk with them and get to know them better, and you're going to develop that feeling of camaraderie, and it's still a great relationship that you can build.
What about emotes? What kind of emotes might we see in the final game?
So we do have emotes. So in the video, you do see waves. As I mentioned, the flare is an emote. You'll be able to customize those. Also, that we will have additional emotes as well. And people have asked me about dabbing. We don't have a dab animation, but I'd be amazed if someone's not building it. We are also the animation when you land, when you join someone in progress. That's something that you can customize.
Yeah.
We are looking for some other things. I would really like for us to be able to do some more combat-related animations. We can't currently do that, but it's something that we are looking at.
Yep.
This one comes from our Twitch chat today. This is from Mr. the Machine. Will you be able to drive the Strider around the world? The Strider is that thing we showed at the very beginning of the demo.
No, Mr. the Machine, you cannot drive the Strider. You have somebody who drives it for you. His name is Halleck. But you as a player cannot steer it around the environment.
And what exactly is the Strider used for those who don't know?
So the Strider is in the IP in the game world. The Strider is basically, it's like the semi-trailers of the world. They used to move between these settlements, these places of safety. So it's heavily armored, so that it can basically go through this really dangerous terrain. In the game, what you use it primarily as is as a forward base. So you use it so that you can go out and start a different place in the world. So when you fast travel in Anthem, that's what you're doing. Like from a lore perspective, you're traveling by Strider to a different spot.
That's right. And there aren't a lot of these out in the world from a lore perspective. The world of Anthem doesn't have mass production, so all of these things are painstakingly handcrafted and put together. So it's quite an endeavor to build a Strider and then take it out and use it.
This one comes from Platinum Gaming Fox. He wants to know how Mark's day is going.
How my day is going. Well, I drank like a lot of caffeine right before this, so it's
Pretty
doing
good.
super good. Super good.
Super
My
good,
eyes might
man.
cross at some point, but
Good question. I like that.
Here's a popular one. This one from R Claimer. How are microtransactions really going to affect the game?
Oh, really going to
So-
affect the game.
so here's what we are doing, at least as much as we're talking about it right now from a microtransaction perspective. So there's no loot boxes, and there will be no ability to pay for power. So there will be cosmetics that we will be selling, but we want to make sure that you're going to see what you're buying before you get it, before you spend any money on it.
No blind drop.
Yeah, no blind drop. We'll talk in more detail as we get closer to launch. When we start talking about the Elder Game stuff, would be a good time for us to talk in more specifics on exactly how that's going to work, like how the purchase mechanics is going to work. But I just think it needs that context to really make sense.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that the key thing to take away is no pay for power, You always know what you're going to get, and it's going to make you look cool.
Yeah.
One thing we're getting a lot of questions on, and I'll just go ahead and address right now, we are not announcing dates for the demo today. We know you guys want to know that,
Right.
and we will announce that at some point, but we're not announcing that on the stream today. Okay, here's one from Mike the Dane 327. Wants to know how many Javelins there are. Are there 4? Is it a different number?
Yeah, so there are 4 Javelins. There is the four Javelins at launch. There's the Colossus, the Storm, Interceptor, and the Ranger. And then, of course, the follow-up question that he's going to now quickly type in is, are there going to be more Javelins later? And we're not talking.
And we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, so.
All right, this one from Max ATV.
Ooh.
I love Max ATV.
Nick Terabay voices Owen, correct?
No, that is incorrect. Nick voices Halleck.
All right. Do you know who does? Are we announcing who voices Owen?
I don't think we're announcing our cast just yet, but we
Okay.
will.
All right. So stay tuned on that one. Adema 360 wants to know, or wants us to explain the icons on the map.
Oh, what the
they
different
mean?
activities mean.
Oh, okay. I'd
have to look at the
the
map.
map. So basically, you have strongholds, you have missions.
Yep.
What else is on the map?
Strongholds,
Free play.
missions, free play, and then significant
there's-
fast travel locations.
Yeah, there's fast travel locations, and I think we might just have sort of like point of view or landmarks.
Landmarks. Yeah.
But I don't know which one's which. Like the little triangle-y things are missions. So, but
We'll release a full key for it
Yeah.
at some point.
yeah.
This one from Pal Friend Patine. I like that name. How will your Strider work in the environment versus, say, Fort Tarsus?
So really the difference from a gameplay perspective between starting from Fort Tarsus and starting from the Strider is the Strider lets you start out in the world, but with Fort Tarsus you're actually able to start quite a bit higher. So you can get a lot more distance on that flight. When you're starting the Strider, you're pretty high, but you're not going to get quite that distance of flight. You still have full access to the forge.
You won't have. Fort Tarsus has a lot of merchants. Where
That's
you
true,
can,
and a lot of the role-playing
buy stuff. A lot
takes
of the
place
role
there.
playing takes place there. And more things to explore. The Strider really feels kind of like a submarine on the inside.
Yeah.
It's pretty small space.
Yeah, I mean, it's not designed to be the only place you're going to. You should be going back to Fort Tarsus on a relatively regular basis to see what's going on, how the world is evolving and changing.
Yeah, the Strider is a quick pit stop, right? You just want to go back to the Strider, maybe see what you picked up as far as loot, and then re-equip and head back out. Yeah.
This one from the Twitch chat as well, from Emery. If you have more people in your game, does it make the enemies harder?
So we will balance the game somewhat to your party size, but we are doing most of our balance for assuming a party of 4. So we will adjust a little bit for smaller parties, but definitely the game will be most designed for a 4-player party.
Yep.
So how do you customize the Javelin's gameplay style? Is there a skill tree? Is that something we'll get to later?
We'll get to it in a lot more detail later, but we can talk about it a little bit just to give a little bit of context that I think will help. So you have a freelancer, your pilot, who has a skill tree that you get, and this is things like allowing you to fly better. It's really sort of finesse things that apply to whatever javelin you're piloting.
Yeah, it overarches all Javelins.
Then each javelin itself has various gear slots. So those are like your gun, and then things like the mortar or the flamethrower, and that's really how you customize your playstyles, by swapping out that gear and that weapon.
Right. Yeah, I like to think of it as your pilot skill, and your pilot skill tree kind of represents your personal play style and the things you like to emphasize or de-emphasize. Whereas the loadout on your Javelin is really more about capability and what you're going to try to do that day.
This one coming from You Got Juked. They want to know, will there be text chat built in on the PC version?
I don't know yet. There are some. We haven't actually locked that down at the moment.
Now we're looking at some different options.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Mr. Robot's question. Will we be able to harvest plants and hunt animals?
So we do have. So we have crafting, and so you will. There is various nodes in the world that you do harvest, including plants, for purposes of crafting. Animal hunting would be done for a purpose, like you would have a mission or something like that, which would be to hunt animals. You wouldn't be doing that as part of the crafting.
Yeah, I mean, when you encounter animals of different type out in the world, most everything in the world is fairly hostile. There are a few things like the grabbits, and we saw some of our version of, I guess, what would be a ox or oxen in the demo that we showed last year.
Right.
You know, they kind of ran across the screen there. So there are just kind of ambient creatures who aren't trying to eat you all the time, and I mean, yeah, you can attack them, but they have different behaviors. They may run away, or the oxen actually will all attack you.
Yeah, I mean,
the whole herd.
I've said before, I don't think there are any domesticated animals in the world. I think that something that would be done is that hunting would be done for the purpose of meat. You are a freelancer, however, not a
hunter.
Not a hunter, so it's not something that you would be doing.
Yep.
This one from Phoenix Hawk 76. They want to know if there's any kind of penalty for dying.
So at the moment, you do not lose any loot when you die. You can be either revived by other people in your party, or if they can't get to that, you can respawn to the nearest resupply point. I think dying doesn't have any penalty.
Yeah,
at the moment.
not at the moment. I think that this is something that we're still playing with, honestly, and finding out what's most fun and what provides the coolest challenge.
Yeah.
So, TBD.
Yeah.
Okay, this one from Vorlon B5. Will there be cool things to find underwater?
Of course.
Yes, for sure.
Pretty straight answer there.
Yeah.
Will the Strider, this one, from Mike, comment, subscribe. Will the Strider be customizable, like being able to display Javelin's gear, weapons, etc.?
So we will display your current Javelin with its paint job and its customization. I don't believe at the moment that it's not something you can change. It might change over the course of the story a little bit. But,
and I think that that's something that could be interesting for
it's certainly
live
something I could
service.
see after launch us adding, but not at launch.
Okay, this one from Inner Circle 13. Can you tell us anything about the flare that the Ranger fires into that cavern in the demo?
This flare right here.
Oh yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier in the stream. Like Mark said, it's actually hooked up through the emote system, and you can use it to either light up dark spaces or communicate with your squad. Be careful. Or decorate caves.
Very cool.
Temporarily, anyway.
Temporarily decorate caves.
So that is not a like a cutscene sequence. That is actually something that you trigger.
That is actual gameplay.
Yep,
yes.
that's gameplay. Like this whole thing.
This one from the Destin channel. What's the best part of the grind? Like, how does it stay fun in hour 5 versus hour 500?
Nah. So I'll take a shot at that.
Yeah.
I think that for me, and because I've played it a long time now, and it's because the world is dynamic. It's not always the same, same dudes who are waiting to ambush you at the same spot every time. It does change, and the weather has an effect on things. Day-night has an effect on things. So that's one thing, is that it's always kind of surprising at that base level. And the gear is fun to chase, and that's always something where you're trying to get a better version of a weapon, or just a straight-up better weapon. I think there are lots of great things to find and lots of cool enemies to fight.
Yeah, I do think that the gear chase is really interesting because it's got a lot more variety in terms of, like, there's subtle variants, but then you also want to go and find that shotgun that's going to light the person on fire, and then find a better version of that shotgun that's going to light the person on fire even more better.
And the world events, like when you see with that Ash Titan, you never know what you're going to hit. If you're out in free play, world events are going to happen, and that can be something like, oh, hey, there are some sentinels who have been imprisoned or who are under siege, and you got to go help them out. It could be that Ash Titan, it could be something bigger or something better. But that's always something that's dynamic and surprising as well.
someone asked what's the name of the game, and I would like to clarify this, that it's actually Anthem, like pants,
Like tiny pants
on
for
an ant
ants.
that are too long, and they've shortened them. An ant.
I've been mispronouncing
People
it
say
this whole
Anthem.
time.
And
whole
sometimes
time.
I do, but it's really Anthem.
So Mark's personal title for the game is Anthem.
Tiny tailoring.
This one from Darkstalker. How big is the overall map compared to what was shown in the demo?
So in the demo, we are seeing a pretty small part. I think we cross maybe one subregion. There are 10 subregions in the game, so So this is a really hard question, even though it sounds like a really easy one, because without context and without being able to really feel it, it's really difficult to answer this question with an answer that makes much sense. I would say the game is very comfortably large.
It is, and like Mark was saying earlier, you have to kind of think about the playable space, not as a plane, but as a volume, because you have all of this verticality in the game. So it's not just about running across it, it's about exploring it on all axes.
This one from Ultimatum 54. Can you elaborate on guilds at all? How many members in a guild, cross-console gameplay, development streams? Can you talk more about the lore? There's a lot of questions
That was a
there.
lot of questions.
Maybe start with the first one. Can you elaborate on the guilds?
We'll be talking about social mechanics in more detail later. I'd like to be able to show it a little bit better than we can show it right now. There will be ways for you to group up in more permanent groups.
Yep.
But in terms of numbers of people and stuff like that, that hasn't really been locked down.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it later.
We got a very interesting question here from Ben Lorg. He wants to know, or she, can you wear the skin of the enemies you kill?
Well, so in Anthem you can't. In the real world,
I gotta go.
That was a darker answer than I expected.
You never know what you're gonna get.
What about cross-console gameplay? Also from Ultimatum 50.
so crossplay of any sort is not currently in the plan. We are looking into it. There are some obviously issues, well-publicized issues of playing between Xbox One and PS4, but it's currently not in the plan even between Xbox and PC. But we are looking at it.
Yeah, we'll see.
This one from Kadab. They want to know, is there a Titanfall crossover?
I got that question earlier.
So official lore, no. But one thing that our personalization system really does let us do, and I think you'll see this more and more after launch when we get more comfortable with the IP. It really lets us do things like, oh, it's a Titan skin for your Colossus, or here's an N7 skin. We actually showed that at the press conference for your Ranger, or like here's Isaac Clarke or as an Interceptor and things like that. Like I think once we not that I'm promising any of those things,
Not a promise.
but I think once we get after launch, I think you'll see that become a really interesting direction for us.
I think don't take yourself too seriously. I
Yeah.
think is one of the things that we think about. So
For
let's
sure.
have some fun.
This question from, and I'm just reading it, Satan Primes 666 wants to know, can you tell us when you're showing the Interceptor?
I will tell you when we are showing it,
Yes.
like when we are doing it.
Yes. When we're actually doing
Showing
it,
it.
say it.
Oh, you want to know when we're going to show it? We will show it before launch. We will do a deeper dive on loot and stuff. I suspect we'll probably that's probably when we'll start showing the Interceptor and the Storm a little bit more.
Yep.
They are not as far along as the Ranger and the Colossus right now, so we just want to get them a little bit more hooked.
Yep.
Will there be different playable races in the game?
There are not. You are a human, not an Earthling, but you are a human,
Yep.
and that is and that is
And
the
that is
playable race.
that.
That
Yep.
is that.
This question from Lion Bites. Who is scoring the soundtrack?
I don't know the answer to that, but I do think
Yeah, we're gonna
we'll
release
talk
some
about
of that
soon. Yeah.
Yep. Cool soundtrack.
I can't remember people's names. as we know from, I'm assuming Mark era.
Noted stranger.
Noted stranger person sitting next to me.
This one from Vampire Phoenix. How deep underground and how large are the parts of the map you cannot see?
Oh, how deep underground? Well, I don't know that we've
Tough
actually
one to
measured
answer.
that.
I don't really know how
Nah.
deep underground.
Deep.
Pretty deep underground.
Pretty deep, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that.
This one from Zanman02. Can we buy materials from merchants?
So you will be able to buy a relatively small amount of crafting materials from merchants, but only using the sweat currency. You will not be able to use the premium currency for that. Only the currency you earn by playing the game.
Yep.
This one from Tumination. They want to know, their question is with regards to combos. Are there combos that you can use to affect your allies to add some positive effect to them, etc.?
I don't think we've really talked about
Buffing and stuff.
ally buffs or combos, but we are going to talk about that more in depth, I think, later.
A bearded Viking wants to know, are there unique boss mechanics like, say, a game like Monster Hunter?
Sorry, I got distracted by bearded Vikings. Is there non-bearded Vikings? I totally didn't hear the question.
Yeah, really young Vikings
Yeah.
don't have beards,
Yeah,
right?
maybe baby Vikings.
Baby Vikings, okay. Sorry, I totally missed the question. Yes.
Are there
Unique
unique
boss
boss
mechanics.
mechanics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good answer. More info later. Grods X wants to know,
Gorilla
when
Grodd.
is your beta? And the answer to that, as we've said, we are not announcing demo dates for the pre-order at this time during the stream, but we'll get more info on that later. Adema360 wants to know if there will be Dead Space skins, so kind of similar to the Titanfall.
Yeah, I mean, we're not announcing anything right now, but Game Informer did give me $20 to do Isaac
Wow.
Clarke one. So I could certainly
There you
see as a possibility.
That's a really flexible system.
Yeah.
I think we can do all sorts of cool stuff with it.
Vampire Phoenix wants to know, why did the Javelin cross the road?
I want to know how a vampire phoenix works. Is that a phoenix that's a vampire, or is it a vampire that comes back if it catches on fire?
Yeah. Because would you always just be dying instantly when
Yeah,
you came
exactly.
back? Oh, that does it. I think to kill the chicken on the other side, right?
Right.
Nah. To answer your question.
Or space rabbits?
Yeah.
All right, jumping back to like the basics of the game, what are those little creatures at the video called?
Oh, those are grabbits.
Those are grabbits. So they are basically they are the bottom of the food chain of Anthem. I do think they have really sharp teeth though when you get right up to them. So I think
They're
bottom of the food chain of Anthem is still gonna eat you if you get out of your suit. But yeah, they're called grabbits.
Yep.
This one also from some of our other social channels. What is science fantasy? Can you shed some light on
I think
that?
Ron can talk.
Sure. So science fantasy is, I think the biggest, easiest understandable analogs for that are Star Wars or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? It's got a great science fiction aesthetic and wrapper around it, but it doesn't try to explain exact mechanics, you know,
Right.
like the warp drive in Star Trek or the Mass Effect in Mass Effect. It's more like, hey, yeah, sure, Tony Stark built an arc reactor in a cave in Afghanistan. Sure, right? And it doesn't bother to try to explain that. So we have cool, fantastical elements in the IP, but we also have this really cool, kick-ass science fiction aesthetic.
Yeah, that's a good description.
Science fantasy.
Is there fast travel in the game?
There is fast travel. You will typically fast travel to your Strider, and you have to unlock the fast travel points first by traveling there overland before you can use it.
Correct.
Does the time of day impact enemy types or behaviors?
It does.
Yep.
Will we be able to get different melee weapons, or are they specific to each Javelin?
Each Javelin has a specific attack. We won't have the ability to swap that at launch, but it is something we'll probably look in post-launch.
Yep.
Are there swords?
We're not
think
talking
we're gonna
about
talk about that.
the Interceptor and Storm at the moment.
read into that?
It could be anything.
Could be a broomstick. We don't know.
How long can you stay underwater, and can you drown? This is something you answered earlier.
You can drown. I actually don't know exactly how long. I've never really felt super pressured by it.
We're still tinkering with
Yeah.
with that meter and what feels right, because it is something that you can invest in through your player skill. So we're still playing with it.
Here's kind of a fun question. Will Javelins be able to grapple and powerbomb monsters through tables?
They cannot. I actually answered that Twitter.
Really?
Yeah. So they cannot do that. But the Colossus melee attack is pretty smashy.
I like that.
Smashing.
Yeah.
Yes, also smashing. You can get a monocle.
Can you combo when playing solo?
Yes.
You can. The easiest one that I can think of off the top of my head is that Ranger freeze grenade. You can freeze someone and then use your shock mace, which is the melee attack for the Ranger, to combo off of that.
Yep, you can also do it with a lightning strike and a railgun.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of different ways, and it depends on how you configure your loadout. So, again, player agency, player freedom.
Yeah.
It's all up to you how you configure your suit.
Will there be saved loadouts, like 2 different loadouts that you can switch between?
Yes,
for
you will be able to do that.
Yes.
I don't know exactly how many we're going to give you per Javelin, but it'll be more than one.
For sure.
As you're flying, can you do some sweet wall runs or other sick stunts in the air?
So wall runs, I don't think so, but you do have You do have an in-air evasion.
Yep.
The Colossus actually doesn't, but the other suits will have the ability to do dodges and barrel rolls and things like that when they're in the
Yeah,
air.
I think we showed the Storm teleport in one of the videos that we released around EA Play.
Can you replay story missions after they've been completed?
Yes, you can.
What are, or are you ready to talk about the rarity tiers for?
Yeah, I
items
talked
and
about
stuff?
them before, and so let's see if I can. So you've got common, uncommon,
Yep.
rare,
Yep.
epic,
Yes.
legendary,
Yeah.
and then I think it's called masterwork. But I think we're kind of dithering over those upper 2 names.
Yep.
But those are the so there's 6 tiers, and the names of the upper 2 might change.
Yep.
More info on that stuff later too.
Yes, for sure. We'll definitely talk about that in much more detail later.
Potentially official names.
Yes.
Will there be scoring for cooperative activities like strikes or raids or things like that nature? Maybe even a high score leaderboard.
Yeah, we are going to have scoring on strongholds, and we will have scoring for our other Elder Game content that we are not talking about today.
Correct. But yes, leaderboards.
Are there multiple types of elemental damage?
Yes.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out why they're asking that question.
I was like, why do you want to know about
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yes.
How did you get the storm at level 1 if you're supposed to start with the
A
ranger?
debug command.
Yeah, because we made the game.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. You actually will start with the ranger. So the earliest you probably can get the storm is probably about level 5.
Yeah, somewhere around
Something
that. So
like
really,
that.
if you're
If you were just focused on it, yeah.
This one also from the Twitch chat. This one from GrodsX. What if you miss loot? What happens?
So I think the plan is that loot that you miss, you will get through a post system back at Fort Tarsus.
Yeah, as long as it's not just white. I don't think we're going to
Oh,
deliver
yeah, okay.
common
Okay,
loot
makes
to
sense.
you, right?
Sure.
We got to pay the postal workers.
Yes.
It's expensive.
Okay.
This question coming from someone called Mini Junkie. I don't know who that could be. Are you comfortable in your mini spaceship right now?
You don't know. You didn't in our mini spaceship.
Who's this guy?
You've never heard of Mini Junkie, noted YouTube celebrity?
Oh, that's true. He paints a hell of a mini.
Yeah.
He does. I love
Yeah,
him.
yes.
Love his work. You should follow him.
Follow him. Like
Yeah.
and subscribe to Mini Junkie on YouTube.
That's right. It's hot in here, man.
It is super hot in here. It is very hot.
It's getting warm.
It's
So
getting
we'll take-
very warm in here.
What do you guys say we take
Mini
5 more
spaceship.
questions and then wrap this
Okay,
one up
sure.
for this
Okay.
time? So for suits, how did you get the? Or sorry, I already asked that one. But can you take off the javelins outside of Fort Tarsus?
Oh, can you get out of the Javelin outside of Fort Tarsus? There are a few story reasons why you will be out of the Javelin, not in Fort Tarsus, like in the Strider, but there's also some some things that happen in story, but you can't just climb out of your javelin because then a grapple will come and eat your leg.
Yeah. Bah!
Do armor pieces and guns have random rolls of perks and stats?
Yes.
Yes, that is how they.
Will there be cloaking?
We are not talking about the Storm and Interceptor at this time.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull one more here.
Is that
This one
mini junkie
from
again?
this one from the Twitch chat. They just want, here's more of a request than a question, but Bart W23, can we get a massive axe for the Colossus?
So, as I said, we're not going to be having replaceable melee weapons
At launch.
but if we add melee weapons, I'm sure we will put that in the to-do list.
We will consider
Yes.
massive axe.
Yeah. So, okay, I think with that, because we're melting down in here, we are going to start to wrap it up. The next thing we're going to probably focus on is really digging more deeply into our storytelling. So the next time you hear from us over the summer, in any great detail, it will be about that.
Yeah, it'll be good. Stay tuned.
Very cool.
Yep,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thank you, Mark and John. Thank you guys for watching.
See you guys.